Hey everybody, Nate here again. I wanted to come back to something that I don't think I described very well with the web administration in our webinar yesterday. So I wanted to go back and add a little piece to try and clarify some of it up. Hopefully the explanation will add a little bit more clarity for everybody here. So the use case for this is when you've got one person who needs to manage web notes and web options on the web for a bunch of companies. So the part that I don't think I explained very well is the way that you accomplish that is you put all of the extra accounts, all of the extra organizations in this top section for the web permission. The reason for that is you have to be logged in to be able to add or modify web notes for a particular organization. And this web permission section of the web user is what does that for you. So right now, the way I have it set up, I can only log in as an employee of the Pittsburgh Penguins. I've got a role of donor and role of ePledge admin, so I can only log in as one of those two roles for that one organization, the Pittsburgh Penguins. So if this person is supposed to manage multiple accounts, what you would do is first enable your web administrator checkbox. So that's the first step. And then the second step would be to add any additional organizations and roles to your top section here, to the web permission. So in that case, this person is supposed to manage maybe American Bearings as the employee donor. And also we want this person to be able to manage the American Bearings ePledge administrator web notes and web options as well. So now when I'm logging into my website as this person, I can switch roles between the Pittsburgh Penguins and American Bearings. And then with this enable web administration checkbox, I can add or modify any web notes for either one of those two companies. So let's just update this. We'll go back and log in. So now I'm logged in as an employee, the employee donor role for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I can turn on my web notes. And when I see my web notes, I can go and add or modify any web note that's out there for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Okay, so I'm logged in as an employee of the Penguins. I can only add or modify web notes for the Penguins. Where the extra organization piece comes in as you go down to your role switching menu, wherever it happens to be. You switch organizations to that other company that we added in that box, in my case, American Bearings. So we'll change roles to American Bearings. And now when I go to add or modify any web notes, my options are going to be for American Bearings. So it is really all about what organization you are logged in as on the website. That's what you can add a web note or a web option to. Okay. It's a security feature. It's one thing that we wanted to do just to try and limit and make sure that you weren't getting carried away with adding web notes or web options where you shouldn't be. So you actually physically have to change roles to go and modify web notes or web options for that second company. Again, part of the reason there is that we wanted to make sure that you're using the pecking order, and if you're just copying and pasting from one to the next to the next to the next, you might not want to do that or might not need to do that. You should do it on the tailoring count or some other way. So switch your roles. You can then add or modify any of the additional companies that you've added to this box up here. Okay. This secondary section down here, this is for additional authorized accounts. So if in addition, when I'm logged in, right now I'm logged in as American Bearings employee, if I want an additional authority to add or modify web notes or web options for the tailoring account, that's where this box comes in. So think of this second box down here more of all of the accounts that are in your pecking order, your tailoring account, your campaign account, any of those web customization accounts that you might have. This particular additional authority box is for all of those accounts that are in the pecking order of that, not for additional authorities for companies. So the top box, again, the idea there is that's for all of the companies that you want to make changes to on the website. The additional authority box or authorized box is for anything that's in the pecking order. So hopefully that clears things up for you. Sorry about that. I felt bad that I didn't quite explain that as well as I'd like to. So wanted to throw an additional couple minutes onto the recording and hopefully that clears things up for you. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot us an email, let us know, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.